Live here talking a little LSU football. It is Bama week here in Baton Rouge. Rohan is here. We'll talk to BJ Ojulari as we'll get started here. BJ's on a tight schedule, so we'll get him in and out of here. BJ, how we doing this morning? Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good.
Yes, sir. It's good to talk to you here on game week. It's Bama week. How'd you spend your off week? How was the bye?
It was good. Got time to rest. Got to see the family back at home, so it was a good off week.
Any football? Did you go to a high school game? Any college games? You do anything as far as football? Did you get away from it?
Yeah, I went to my former high school game.
Total legend on campus over there, I'd imagine. Right now. Legend status?
Brit status?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they like seeing me over there.
I bet. That's one way to put it. So it's Bama week here. How we feeling? How we feeling going into the week of preparation?
I'm feeling good. We had a good week of preparation last week as well, doing some more installs and stuff like that. So I'm feeling good going into this week.
Do you watch Bama last week, or do you start all going in this week?
Yeah, we watched some of Bama last week. We really was focusing on us, seeing what we did wrong at Ole Miss, but we did dive into some Bama stuff.
BJ, what's happening, baby? Rohan.
Yo, what up?
What's going on, man? Look, I know you had a good time going back to the high school, man. Get back to the purest form, or one of the purest forms of football. So I know that was a good. And the off week is always a time where you could go back with your family and things of that nature. So I'm glad you guys had a chance, especially with everything you guys been dealing with so far. So I'm glad you took that opportunity to do that. And I'm sure it was great to see your family. And now you come back and it's Alabama week. Let me ask you this. A guy like yourself, 18, Damone, 5, Ward, a couple other guys offensively that I see are still just, balls to the walls. How, with Bama coming, of course, or what this game always means here because of who we're playing. So there shouldn't be any extra like motivation or anything like that. But for you guys as players, going out knowing what they're playing for, knowing what you guys basically aren't playing for, but basically you're going out to just compete. How difficult is it? Because I saw it when I played, and everyone has their own way of handling business when it comes to that. How difficult I know it has to be for you. How difficult is it for you when you see a teammate teammate, and he's not going as hard as he previously would, or the attention to detail, or, whether it's during the week and guys don't want to watch extra film or whatever it is. What do you do? Because I know you're a leader. I've seen you around the facilities. What are one of the things that you do? And this is for my young guys that's out there, my young guys that I coach, hearing it from a guy like yourself, as opposed to me. So this is basically for them. This question is for them. What is one of the things that you do to a teammate that gets their mind right and gets them back on track?
For me, I'm just a leader, so like I'm not really too vocal, but I just want everybody to follow me, feed off my energy. I know guys like Damone. Yeah, he's a more vocal leader, so he can address the whole team, address a certain person, address the whole defense. So that's on his part. Me, I'm just more of a action. Action kind of guy. Just feed off of my energy, especially this week. You gotta have high energy going into Bama. You gotta give, like you said, what they're playing for and what we're not. So you just still got to give them your best.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
BJ, when you look at Bama on film, what are some of the things that you see? What's some of the challenges?
They got a good offensive line. So stopping the run is going to be vital for us this week. They have receiver threats and stuff like that. But for us, it's just really stopping that run. They're going to try to do some things that Ole Miss did. Yep. So that's what really we got to stop. and focusing on.
And a big curiosity outside in the fan base around LSU football is the feeling in the building. What has been the feeling around the atmosphere there over the last couple of days, couple of weeks, and going into this enormous game week of traveling to Tuscaloosa?
They try to keep the atmosphere as consistent as possible. Everybody just focusing on task at hand because we still have to finish strong. We still have to finish the season strong. You can't just give up in the middle of the season. Everybody's still locked in, honed in the task at hand.
What's the schedule like for you this week?
Just workouts this morning, practice throughout the week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. So just a regular schedule, breaking down film, then practicing.
Good to talk to you as always, man. Have a great week, and good luck on Saturday. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. There is B.J. Ojulari checking in this morning from LSU football as they have got a tough task in front of them, Ro. That's 25.5-point underdogs they've opened up. For the first time since 2006.
Take that.
For the first time since 2006, this game will not be on CBS.
Oh, no.
For the first time, it's 8 out of the last 10 years. This will be the first.
How far we falling?
This will be the 8th time.
And that's Alabama carrying you to this 2:30 time.
6:30. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock is the time of kickoff.
That's as positive as BJ could be.
Yeah,
like you can hear it in his voice because nobody cares more than he does. Like he's been a stalwart on not only on the show but for the team, and he's as positive as they get, and even he's kind of like it feels like searching for answers.
You've been in a building like they are trying to work it. I guess you've not been in one like they are operating in where the man that is fired is still around. You've been in a mid-season turnover where there's been interim and they're hiring people and people are kind of looking around. Can you imagine what type of environment and atmosphere that LSU football is preparing in this week?
It's unbelievable. It's hard for those kids, man. It's hard for those guys. To come in and walk past a coach that you know is not going to be there, that you don't trust anymore, that you don't believe in, that outwardly talks about his bread, basically, and saying, that's what this is. So, like I said, Scott I trust and Austin I trust. I definitely would have got him up out of there and got him away as fast as I could, but I whatever the reason being, we don't know. But just imagine how hard it is for everybody just to be working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just like the players, absolutely, they got to go and put on the field, but at least, with those guys, once they get on the field, it's kind of, for that 3 hours, things kind of are okay. You know what I mean? Not as far as what we're doing and we're still losing, but you're enthralled in football. Yeah. You're enthralled in trying to win this football game. And with a huge challenge like Alabama this week is even a little bit more, is even more focused. And, what you're going to see, Jay, is the guys that really give a damn. You're going to see
like the guy we just talked to.
Yeah. Him, these guys, Damone Clark, these guys, man, have been in this tumultuous season. And, and with these guys, it goes back so far. It goes back 2 years. It goes back pandemic. It goes back to Black Lives Matter. It goes to all that with the coach. And like just everything they've been dealing with. And then now you got to go out and try to focus and play football. And it's very difficult. These guys are individuals. Some have kids. Some have things going on in their individual lives too. And now you got to do this. And now you're dealing with this and dealing with that. Parents in your ear about this and about that. Then you got to go to school. Forget to go to school.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So these guys, man, are doing the best I think that they can do right now with coaches that we don't know how they're going about their business. We don't know because they also are now looking to.
Yeah, they're securing their future.
Yeah, man. So it's difficult right now.
25.5 points favorite for Alabama.
High,
is that too high? Would you?
That's high, dog. Goodness gracious, that's high.
a lot of points.
That's a lot of points for an LSU team you have weapons offensively, so it's not like you can't make this a football game. You know what I mean? Now, he hit it right on the head when he talked about what they're going to do. To see the first thing that came out of his mouth is they have a good offensive line. Probably one of the best offensive line in football.
Mm-hmm.
And he hit it right on the nose, and they know what's coming. He's telling you they know what's coming. They know the ground and pound is coming. They know the ground and pound play action game is coming. They know we're light in the secondary. So what are we going to do? Are we going to be scared defensively to now keep everybody back, don't give up the big play, but they're going to pound it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Time of
Eat
possession.
Eat you up. Chomp up clock and yards.
Now you got to come out of it. We can't, in my opinion, this Alabama wide receiving core is probably one of the fastest we would face.
Sure.
They are fast. And indecisiveness, with us not having Ricks, with us not having Stingley, with no one, in my opinion, but about two guys, including Ward, playing any kind of semblance of LSU DB play, it's going to be hard. Mm-hmm. It's a monumental task to try to make Alabama one-dimensional. Because if we can't stop the run, it is going to be the longest day ever.
How did Florida happen? If you're LSU, like how did they get to that point? How does Florida let that happen? First of all, and then
I saw reports this morning that Dan Mullins, he's in trouble. I mean, his seat is warming up. You know?
But if you're LSU football, I'm saying, like, how do you go from that beating what looked like a top 10 team in the country to now where it seems like you're almost scared to play Alabama because what can happen and the lack of players you have on the field?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of everything. I think it's a combination of you losing guys, having guys not available, a depleted defensive line, and all the things that's going on within the organization that these guys aren't focused on just playing football or just going to school and playing football. It's so much other. I mean, they are, if anybody, these coaches talking about distractions, I mean, they've created all the distraction for these guys.
Yeah. That's why it's been all year long, like we've asked, and this goes back to obviously pre-termination, but how can you as a coach look at somebody directly in the eye and tell them to stay focused, stay in line, do what you're supposed to do away from the building, and every time you flip through your social media, it's the coaching staff that's really burning you, and not really the staff. It's the head coach.
Yeah.
It's
the
not
head group them all.
No,
it's one.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making
right.
that. I mean, it's not the staff, and really, the staff is almost the lost cast in this, but they don't have the $17 million security that's coming at them. They've got to find jobs that now Jake Peets has got a family of what, 5?
Right.
I mean, he's got to up and move again.
And
and look, I'm not asking for forgiveness or I'm not even asking for those guys and but there is that part of it where they have to wonder where they're going to be next year at this time. You're looking for jobs. What jobs are open? Who do you know in the business? I mean, all of that stuff, and you're preparing for Alabama. And
you don't really have job security, like you said, and then you're still asked to recruit for LSU. Like that's what it goes back to. It's like, these guys, like you saw, Coach Baker on the sidelines going to see Harold Perkins. He's like, what kind of message do you think he can send to a 5-star that ran for 200 yards and scored 2 touchdowns, and he's the best player on the field? And then you go see Coach Baker. He's like, I don't even really know what to sell you from LSU standpoint.
Ogeron
doing the same
Andre
thing
Carter.
And no LSU clothes.
Yeah, Ogeron and Andre Carter were at Quincy Wiggins' game on Thursday night.
And it's like, what are you really looking at?
It's confusing, and the last month of this season is.
They'll have to write it out, right?
It's going. Yeah, you have to at this point. It depends. I don't know how bad Saturday gets. I don't know how bad.
Ugh.
The book of this part of the chapter of the book that deals with the last month of Ojulan's tenure at LSU to me is going to be just the behind
Bruce Feldman.
the behind the scenes stuff that has to be going on, and the people trying to find jobs, keep jobs, understand what's going on, the player conversations that are being had with counselors, with trainers, with people behind the scenes, with what are the options of player, the big time players that are getting. Do you know what is happening to Elias Rick's phone right now? Do you know what's happening to Mason Smith's DMs right now? I mean, what's going on with BJ Ojulari and his phone and text message? I mean, the amount of people coming at these guys has got to be just like they're recruiting again, like they're 4 or 5 star guys again.
Absolutely.
So it's
we got to recruit them.
Yeah.
You got to re-recruit them.
We got to re-recruit them.
But there's nobody that you don't even know who can re-recruit them because who's going to be back.
I guess Woodward's probably doing all of that, right? I mean,
the weight on his shoulders, dude.
Can't be. That's why
he's the one that has the most answers right now, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the one that you go to if I'm a recruit's dad and I've got real answers. I mean, I've got real questions about, hey man, what's he going to be? What are you looking for in the hire? What is, what's the stability of the job? I mean, just there's just a lot going on. I hate to almost right now in this time, and I know some people won't believe this, but this is the honest to God truth. I almost hate opening the conversation to LSU football right now because it's almost just like a bottomless hole of
despair. Like you can just dig as deep as you want.
As bad as you want to go right now, it seems like you can get there. That's why I just want to get to the hire. I want to get to the guy who is next. That way you have an idea of what the message that's being sold and the culture that's being built. Because right now, LSU is flailing in the wind. Limbo. And they're so exposed.
Yeah, limbo.
They're so wide open. Everything about them is open. Their recruits, their roster, their coaching staff.
It's just very public.
Everything is out in the open right now. And the people that you have in charge of it don't really care. They don't really. There's not a lot for them to look for. They don't have to put out any tape or a resume. They got $17 million in security coming at them. And they keep reminding you of that. If you ever wondered if they're checked in, all you have to do is listen to them speak.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Rohan said, you never. Mentioned. I mean, how many times have you ever heard one person talk about their own money as much as you've heard someone publicly speak of it as LSU's head football coach?
Goes out of his way to mention it.
It's
just because I feel like this is just some of it has to be his ego a little bit to where he's like, well, I'm still getting this on the other end because
it's all ego, man.
Right, because right now he's in the worst part of it. It's hard to do the job that he's doing right now, which is just show up every day.
It's definitely
because it's a little embarrassing.
It's hard.
So what's the one thing you would talk about? At least I get money at the end of it. Like, don't let you forget.
It's hard for him. It's hard. It's hard both ways. I mean, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for Coach Ed Ojulari. I'm happy that he had the opportunity to fulfill one of his dreams, which is the coach at the university that he loves and endures so much. He had possibly the greatest season to date ever, and you can never take any of those things away from him. He's a fantastic recruiter, like everyone has pointed out. Listen, man, everything has a shelf life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We can't put additives and everything and keep trying to make it fit until it gets spoiled, and now you eat it, and now you sick for how long? And that's what's possibly could have happened here. We've been eating that spoiled food, and now it's time. It's time to go. And I think he's okay with leaving with, as he's pointed out, enough money to buy a double cheeseburger or whatever
he wants to say.
Yeah, so time to move on. But I definitely think that we need to get the hire quick. We need to get somebody in place. We need to at least, and then at some point we gotta. It can't just be okay. This is the coach. I mean, let's gauge the temperature of okay. We're down to these 3 guys, and you could go from there. You know what I'm saying?
I put out 3 names this morning, really 4. Tell me how you feel about all of them. I was asked numerous times this weekend, Who do you think it is? And like I tell everybody first, anybody that tells you that they know is lying to you. They don't know. Scott Woodward's not letting any information out on this.
Heck no.
He's not letting you know anybody who's in the lead, who's being talked to. I mean, you can guess, and the people that you're guessing are probably being talked to, but you don't know the pecking order and what they're being discussed. Right now, my top 3, and this is not the people that I want that I'm pulling. This is who
rank.
I feel like are getting the job, and in the order. I feel like Lincoln Riley is number 1 from Oklahoma. He just feels like a Scott Woodward guy. His name is kind of floating around there enough to make you think that he's a real player. Billy Napier down at UL, to me, is a real candidate. I think that they've made contact with him in the last couple of days. Dave Aranda is on that list, and I also have Mel Tucker. If you want 3 and 3A, you can take Dave Aranda and put him 3A and put Mel Tucker at 3. It doesn't matter. Mel Tucker over the weekend, his team was very impressive.
Yeah.
His sideline demeanor is very impressive. The way he stays involved in the game and is on top of everything is very impressive. The way his team is coached is very Saban-esque. That would be my 4 names, and just kind of stock up, stock down. I think Kiffin's out. Jimbo's name keeps coming up, keeps swirling around when you just talk to people who think they know, that feel like they are in the know, that you just ask, hey, who do you think it is? The first people off their tongue, the first name off those people's tongue is Jimbo Fisher. That's your guy.
He's in play.
He's in play. And if you want sources, that's about as good a source to Jimbo Fisher as you can get right there. His former quarterback and now good friend, Rohan Davey. So you believe that Jimbo Fisher has a chance to get this LSU job, and a real one?
I definitely think that he's in play. I definitely think that now this is nothing coming from him.
Yeah.
I definitely think that he would be 1 or 1A. As far as like choices, I definitely think that he's been touched. I definitely think that he's been definitely reached out to. Now, whether or not it comes,
Sure.
whether or not that happens, that's totally whatever.
Does money mean anything to him anymore?
I think that with his organization for Lil Man and how that's been going out there in Texas, I think that a commitment to him is the causes that he supports and that he's passionate about. So, and there's no doubt we can get beyond that.
Sure. Have already shown that, right?
Right.
Yeah, Baton Rouge has already shown that.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it's all those little things that factor into a decision when you're trying to get somebody such as a Jimbo Fisher or any of these guys. And the other thing is, man, he slipped up and said it.
He did. He kind of
know what
did.
I mean?
He did.
Of all the people that have had to answer about the LSU job, whose answer stands out the most? 'Cause to me, in mine, it's Jimbo's, because he got down a little rabbit hole he didn't mean to get. I love Baton Rouge. Love the people that won national championships there. Love the place. And he was trying to talk good about A&M, but he slithered right back. And you can tell that Baton Rouge, of all the answers, of all the people, Mel Tucker, Mike Tomlin, all the people that have had to answer questions about the LSU job, Jimbo Fisher stinks the most. Like, it smells the most like a lie.
Look, man, this is the thing, man. You know, everybody knows the relationship between Jimbo and Scott, and it's not a cordial relationship. It's not a fly-by. These guys have decade-long histories together, built programs, built championships. The trust that they have in each other is impeccable. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of relationship you want to have with your guy at the top, your guy at the bottom. The reason why Jimbo won a national championship at Florida State and then jumped ship is because Florida State didn't no longer want to put anything behind him. They didn't support him. They didn't support him. And that's all he wanted was support because, listen, when you ask about the money, no. You know what I mean? For him, it's legacy. Everything else comes with that. For him, it's I'm chasing the GOAT. I just beat him.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's all that. Once you get to the status that those guys are, it's no longer, you know this, it's no longer like, I mean, the bread. I've been getting bread since I've been coaching.
30 years now.
Yeah, I've been getting money. I've been, the money up there.
Yeah.
So now it's just
legacy.
I need to get these chips.
Yeah, they build this resume.
And I want to sit down and I want to be at LSU, A&M for the next, till I retire. Yeah. Have no aspirations of going to the NFL. So, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to lay down ground, and he already know how we get down here. Jimbo know how we get down here. He know how the people here feel about him. He knows the people here love him. He knows that he should have been offered a job when he first came. He know all that, you know what I mean? And it's
he would
kind
take
of just
it.
coming back full circle, you know, so he has no buyout.
Do you
No buyout, man.
He knows he can win national championships in Baton Rouge. Do you believe he can win? And I know that I'm asking you if he believes he can win. Do you believe he can win national championships in College Station?
I do.
He can win. He can win big.
I think the way he's changing where and what they're recruiting and who they're recruiting, and he's gonna, if not already, be the premier team in Texas, Cott University, as far as football. And so that's, man, you could pull Texas and you got Louisiana right there. Jimbo go wherever to get the players.
Yeah, get it.
And that's the thing. As long as he get the players, he's going to develop the hell out the quarterback. So that's not going to be an issue. He's going to develop one. He's going to develop two. He's going to even develop the walk-on. You know what I mean? So I think they can. I definitely think it'll be easy at LSU.
Yeah, for sure. And so does he. Rohan is here. That is compliments of Fletcher Painting. Remember, Fletcher Painting, of course, long-time tradition and great experience with historic sites around the capital city and around the state of Louisiana. They are on Facebook. They've got great social media. We didn't do a Sunday night show, and we got to give a shout-out to our guy, Lance Beal Law Firm over there in Lafayette. Lance Beal, of course, bringing you our Sunday night content every week here. But as Ro and I kind of get you ready for the LSU week ahead, we talked to BJ Ojulari to start off at the 10 o'clock hour. Our Sunday night content is brought to you by Lance Beal, attorney at law down in Lafayette. And, of course, Rohan, every time he's here, is brought to you by Fletcher Paint. Woodlawn, you and I have talked about Woodlawn a lot this season because their roster is stacked with players, including Rashawn Matthews, the big-time cornerback, and, of course, the quarterback that everybody is talking about, and Ricky Collins. Their running back had a big game on Friday night, but they beat Catholic High. They downed the Giant. They beat number 1 on Friday night, and it sounds like they controlled that game in what was a pretty good Friday night classic.
Yeah. You know, oh, man, I actually thought Catholic won the game before I talked to a couple of people and then ran it back. And from what I hear, I talked to Rohan about it, about how Jordan did and who did he match up against Big 6'5" and Shelton Sampson. And, dude, we had so many guys on the field, though, from F3. So many guys on the field. We was just talking about them.
When we went out to that Woodlawn game, I think people thought you were the coach.
We had so many games. And I was really, listen, both quarterbacks are in our system, Daniel Beal.
Yeah.
And
Young Beal.
Young Beal.
Baby Beal.
Ricky played his behind off, man. Everyone was calling me ranting the radio about how he played. Ricky played his behind off, man. And back and forth, 21-21 at the end. But speaking to Rashawn Matthews, who's one of their assistant coaches, balanced ground game. Armani Givens,
running back from
number
Woodlawn.
22, from Woodlawn, which needs to get on some people's radar, dude. Physical, strong runner.
Some of the runs he made against Catholic High, that's a big-time back. I mean, Catholic High's got a big-time roster. He was beating people to the spot.
Yes.
He was running through people.
Definitely an FBS player, man.
He looked good,
I
man.
mean, somebody out there need to take a look
Absolutely.
at this kid from Woodlawn High School, Armani Givens. He's a dynamic, fantastic, physical. Hey, and the thing about him, his first carry, and you go from 1 to 20, the boy gets better as the game goes on. Like number 20 through 30.
Toe field type.
Oh my God, dude. Like yes.
Just keep feeding him.
Oh man, just keep letting that boy eat.
Yeah.
Got
Rick,
a little Chiron Carey to his game.
man,
I think that's
no
probably why
center
people aren't paying too much attention
Short.
because he's short. But you know what? If
He's
you're a coach
popping
out there, you
people.
see it. And
Give
for as
him
many
an
coaches are on the
opportunity.
Woodlawn sideline, I got to imagine somebody's texting people within the community saying, fellas, come put your name on number 6 at Woodlawn or the running
Right.
back at Woodlawn.
Yeah, Monty Givens, number 22.
The
Come get
2020,
him.
yeah.
Come get him, man. And Ricky played his behind off,
So
man.
did Matthews and Sampson, did they match up?
They matched up for 2 plays.
Wow.
On a crossing route, and something like that, dog. I'm like, man, why wouldn't you let them
Take
travel,
best on
dog?
best.
Yeah, just let them travel all night. You traveling? I don't care what you say. You traveling?
I
You
want
don't-
to show.
Yes.
Yeah. So he caught a drag route for about 20 yards. Had another PI, but that was on someone else, the other cornerback. So Shelton only had 1 catch.
Wow.
1 catch. He had the reverse for 39 yards. Then he had the drag for 20 yards. Then he had the PI. But, Woodlawn, what Woodlawn did well in that football game was they limited Catholic's run game.
Uh-huh.
Catholic, they still rushed for about 140, 150 yards, but that was on 2 backs. Held Big Boy to under 100 yards rushing. So they did it. They did a good job. Woodlawn did, and then they spread it out a little bit more offensively. Imran Tremont, which is the offensive coordinator, did a good job of keeping Catholic off balance offensively. I mean, Ricky only threw probably, I think, about 23 passes.
Wow.
I think it was like 18 for 23, something like that. But very efficient. Very efficient.
You mentioned F3, and F3 football is everywhere. F3 elite football is everywhere on Friday nights. Friday nights are starting to it's starting to kind of look towards playoffs,
Yeah.
and regular season starting to trim down. How does the 7-on-7 schedule work on that? How much football time is missed in 7-on-7
None.
after? So like as soon as they're done with the playoffs and regular season, they're into your system.
Playoffs and regular season. What playoffs go all the way through to what, like December, late December?
First week of December, I
Okay.
believe, is the state championship.
So I guess this is information already. We ain't put out yet, but our youth, which is our 10s, 12, 14s, their tryouts will be coming up shortly. End of November, first 2 weeks in December.
Good.
That's the youth. So their tournaments actually start in January. And then we don't do anything with the high school guys until their state championship
Everything's
is complete.
done.
Yes.
Everybody's done.
Everybody's done.
Yeah.
So theirs will be early, like January, when their tryouts will be. And then from there, hell, our first tournament, man, is in Miami on the 22nd,
Wow.
January.
Wow.
So
I wonder who set that up.
we get cracking, baby. Liz,
South Davey.
South Davey.
trying to tell you, back at the crib.
All right, Rohan is here, so if you missed any of it, we appreciate BJ being here. LSU Bama Week, it does not feel like Bama Week. We said
No.
for the first time since 2006, this game will not be featured on CBS. It is in prime time, which you kind of hate to see it. It's a 28-point spread I've seen now, kind of searching at numbers. It's from everywhere from 28. It started at 25.5, and it's going up.
If you
This thing may kick at 30.
I was about to say, if you could set the number, what number would you set, knowing what you know about LSU football? Where would you feel comfortable taking it? 35?
35, 36, and still would probably bet Bama.
Yeah.
And still would probably, because
50.
I mean, you think about this thing in the third and fourth quarter of what it could be.
A murder.
You think about what the recruits that are going to be on the sideline and what Saban's the message he's trying to send. He's trying to send Quincy Wiggins home with an ass whipping that will last for 5 hours.
I can't
That
even
by the
think
time
about
he
LSU
gets back to
football.
Baton Rouge, he's thinking, I can't wait to get back to Tuscaloosa. You know what I mean?
Man, let me tell you something, dude. There's a lot, and I want people to understand something, man. LSU football, from the top with our head coach right now, all the way through meals, through training, through every facet. If you go visit Ohio State, Clemson, Bama, these places, you will see that even from a training, medical, we behind in some areas. that's recruits look at now and know that's not right.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you, and then now you have these guys, all these guys play together around here. All these guys coming up from 8th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all that, they play together. So now when they play together, they go on these recruiting trips. Some may go to Alabama, some may go, you know, everywhere. And they come back, and I'm going to tell you the one thing, because we deal with these kids and we go to these places, the one thing that our kids when we go to these places with camps, we go to Alabama, go to Clemson, A&M, all these places, the one thing them kids say when they come back from Alabama, you know what they say, Jay? Coach, they just different.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Coach, they just different.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I was, dude, Mac Howard, when our quarterbacks on 7-on-7, number one quarterback in Mississippi, just came back this weekend from Notre Dame. He went and visited Alabama unofficially, I think his dad said a couple weeks ago. Forgot who they were playing. Great game. Forgot who they were playing. And he tells me about the process from when they call you to set up your visit to the time you're actually at your visit. And this is a guy that played at LSU. Tommy Howard played linebacker at LSU with Verge, Osbury. And so you got to say he's a guy that knows. And he says to me, he said, Rohan, it is an Army military precision from the calls to, he was like, everything's just flowing through. There's no stops. There's no hiccups. You come through. Your coach that you've been talking to the whole time is the one that greets you. The tables are set up with your name card and the coach's name. They're all there. They're all speaking. Everything's on a time limit. They come out at one time with your food. They come. They do. Saban comes out, greets Coach Saban comes out, greets everybody, knows, comes out, everything precision. Then he walks you through this, walks you through here. You watch the video. Video goes off. It opens up. You go out to here. Everything's greetable. Everything. He say, they make you feel like you're just a king.
Sure. Royalty.
Yeah. Every step
You're in a
of the
palace.
way, man.
Orchestrated.
You're in a football palace.
Well orchestrated, and everybody's in line. Nothing's off schedule. Everyone's on time. You're getting constant information. And I can honestly say I haven't seen that here.
Yeah.
Not
for
like
sure.
that.
No, nothing.
Not like that.
Nothing.
But when you have a coach, though, man, that attention to detail is just OCDS. You know what I'm saying? Where he going and checking the lock 10 times. Because he's thinking, I may have missed a little spot on there. I got to get that thing.
And hopes it's unlocked.
And that's right.
Right.
And that's what we are missing. The reason why people rant and rave about Coach Saban isn't because you love his personality all the time or that. But what you do is you respect the process and you know the process works. We got to have somebody in here that has a proven process and know that the process works. This ain't no place for you to come in, dog, and be a stepping stone. Like, we had 2 coordinators that never called plays. We can't have that again.
Yeah.
You went through a similar transition, I'd imagine, from DiNardo to Saban. Like, what do you think the feel is around the locker room, just in your mind, when you know it's kind of? I'd imagine your last year with DiNardo, you had to know like he's probably on the way out. This is obviously very.
This ain't gonna work.
Yeah. That's
and
why
this is so much more public. So what's the locker room like? And then what are you
that's
looking
why
for
I
in the
asked
next
BJ
guy?
those questions, because I know how it was for us. Everybody talks. Assistant coaches talk to you in your individual meetings about what's going on. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no. The noise that these guys are hearing that you brought up is magnified. You don't think assistant coaches are in these meetings just talking about what's going on instead of a game plan at times for 10 to 5 minutes
Check
throughout?
LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Like, that's happening, man. You know what I mean? Everybody's hearing rumors. Everybody's on this and that, clean house. Like, they hear that. How can you possibly go into a game week against Alabama, against whoever, not knowing? And as the season goes on, it gets worse, in my opinion. As you get closer to the end, it gets worse, in my opinion. It might be a relief for the players, but for the coaches, it's even worse, because now you really don't know nothing what's going on, and that check done stopped.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Rohan will be here later in the week. We'll get you set up for the college football weekend as well as LSU, Alabama. Anything jump out in the NFL yesterday? Did you see things?
Oh,
what
the
about
Saints.
Jameis, man?
The Saints.
I hate that for Jameis Winston.
I hate that for Jameis too, but that was a huge win for the Saints, dog. That was a huge. Let me tell you something.
You expect a phone call?
Listen, let's keep me in a shotgun. Sling that thing, baby. But let me tell you something. I take my hats off to Sean P yesterday, though, dog.
Yeah.
Like Sean P showed I mean,
nuts on the
I
table.
thought Drew Brees kept him hidden for a minute, just doing those things. Yeah. But dog, Sean P dropped them things yesterday, baby. I'm talking about all throughout
animal?
the whole game. Dragging these nuts all over your face, baby. He was dragging yesterday, baby. I ain't gonna hats off to Sean P yesterday, man.
Quincy Wiggins as soon as he gets out the car. What up, Big Q? Nick Saban here, baby. I just turned 70. Rolling out, let you see it. I'm still hung like a dragon. Speaking of dragons, what's your favorite animal? About to drag these nuts all over LSU's face this weekend.
It's gonna be so bad.
Enjoy your ride back to Baton Rouge, Q.
Yeah, come on back.
And he'll have him on his official visit too.
That ain't no one-way ticket. I can
He'll have him on his
that.
every top prospect that ain't signed Louisiana. Come on, your official visit is this weekend, kid. Let's go.
Hey, Shaz Preston, how you doing,
Let's
baby?
go.
You look great in crimson.
God
What's your favorite animal, Shaz?
He's got these jokes.
Yeah.
What about that thing that flies?
You
ever heard of a dragon?
Ask Eddie Yo if you ever heard of a dragon.
Right here on the goddamn field.
And you get battle pull up on the side of him. Coach Saban, I know what your favorite dragon is, baby.
I'll share with the players.
But you know what though, dog? That's a great relationship, man.
Yeah.
That's a great relationship.
It is.
Everybody wants a coach that you know is a hard ass.
Yep, that you can laugh at.
But know his shit.
Yep,
you know what I mean? Like that you know his stuff, man. Like, and that's what it is. You want a coach that when you ask him a question, oh, well, coach, what's the game plan for this week? Oh, well, we know 21 is a good player on defense, and we know 56 is going to get after the defense, and we know we got to stop the run, and we got to stop the big ball over the top of the head.
Cool. Thanks.
Right.
Go Tigers.
Right.
Then you got a coach.
Right.
Yeah, coach, what do you think is going to happen this week? Well, the first thing we got to do is take care of our own self. We got to take care of ourselves. We got to come to practice ready, prepared, and ready to go. And we can't just worry about what they're doing and this and that. But I tell you what, these guys with this 4-3 system and this coming down and put this, that's what you hear from the other side that lets you know, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, like lets you know, like, and it's so hard, and there's no anything towards the guy that we have, but it's just where you are.
It's just the difference.
Yeah, it's a difference.
It's just the difference.
And when you've played for the difference, that other shit just don't look right.
It don't feel right.
No.
Could you notice the change immediately from the end of DiNardo to Saban, where you're like, oh, this is how it like this
the
feels
first team
right.
meeting. Right? I mean, in his book, it's like first team meeting. People were like, "This is so much
You're
different."
like, oh shit.
Soon as we knew he would, because you gotta understand, I was in the meetings when they was talking about all this at the table with Chancellor Emmerich and all them. I was in there.
Oh, Mark.
So Mark Emmerich.
What, like they brought like players?
I was in. Yeah, we was the council. Me, Brady. I think it might have been Rob. It might have been Trev. I think the council. Yeah, and I was the last one to speak in there.
The council.
And you could ask Emmerich. He still had a story about it because, like, when I was the last one to talk about. I just listened. Everybody was talking. Everybody talking. We was in there for I don't even know how damn long. But everybody was talking. I ain't say nothing the whole time. I just listened to what everybody was talking about. And at the end, before we got up, I asked them. I said, "Can I speak?" So I asked them. I said, "Listen, I don't know what y'all doing or who y'all trying to get, but whoever y'all get in here needs to be not like Castro. I mean, we need somebody in here that's gonna be positive. That's gonna." And the first, like you said, as soon as Coach Saban entered that building, that team meeting, to answer your question, fucking immediately.
Yeah. Blink of an eye.
You knew
LSU
there's
football
a
had
new
changed
sheriff
in a blink of
in
an eye.
town, and
Dragon.
he drug them all across our foot. Line up.
Who did I miss?
Line up.
You want to
Nobody.
I want all you basketball players to line up.
Nobody.
Brady, let me get him for a second.
Is that what you said?
Dog.
He called you a basketball player?
Man, he said, I want all, he called us basketball. Like, he was. He's like, what? That's a football team. I was like, dog, everybody know, like, what are you talking about? Oh, we gonna, y'all, immediately, dog. And then it was just like, then the coaches that he had, so they was on the same mantra that he was on. And you just knew, like you felt it. Every day was a challenge. We had never been challenged like that. Every day was a challenge. You was held accountable for everything. Every single day, man, he had to change the climate. And let me tell you, the biggest thing he changed, the weight room. The weight room. And our mental, he got us a mental coach, the Wizard. He brought the Wizard in. Everybody had to see the Wizard before anything. And quarterbacks especially, dog, like I saw the Wizard about 3 times a week. You know what I mean?
Just a psychiatrist?
Yeah, mental health, dealing with football, dealing with everything like that. And it was key.
Yeah.
Taught you how to sleep, taught you how to get rest. Like that is the stuff that's and dog, all that's deteriorated at LSU. Trust me, I know it has.
Right.
And those are the things that
the details.
Man,
That's the details.
they need that.
Yeah.
Kids need that.
That's the small stuff.
Yes.
It's
stuff
like
that adds
Belichick
up.
with Ernie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
dog.
mean, Will Wade's got Fisk, the psychiatrist. But I mean, Joel
The
Fisk.
mission.
I mean, it's
You
just
need that, man. These guys you need a few of them, especially with football.
Yeah.
You need it, dude.
Which candidate do you think is the most similar? Like, if that's the culture you're trying to recreate, who would you say is in that same vein?
You would have to go, like Jordy pointed out. If a coaching candidate with an impeccable record, no ethical, red flags like we've had, and you come from that Saban tree, I would look there.
the only thing that I would say in certainty right now is that the next guy is coming from Saban Street.
Yeah.
It just feels like Napier has that same process. It feels like he's trying to build that mini culture, that kingdom.
Unless it's
essentially.
Dave Aranda.
And they both have similar, but
Dave
it just
Aranda is similar to that. You know, what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
They
just very
both feel like it.
processed.
And I mean, I know Mel Tucker, you haven't seen it in long stints, but I think what you're looking for is program builder
Right.
and maintainer. I
Right.
think that you see that in Napier. He's been there for 5 years. He's built it and maintained it.
and
Right.
the way that he talks sounds
Aranda
so
kind
similar.
of took over rules, maintained it, and now it's kind of coasting. Tucker has done it in limited spots, kind of turned Colorado around, and now Michigan State really looks like they're heading in the right direction. So it looks like he's building it. Can he maintain it? I think is a question that has to be, because like Rose said, this is no stepping stone next.
Exactly.
This is a decade commitment, decade plus
Right.
commitment that
Right,
I think
right,
each side wants to make.
Right.
You know what I mean? No NFL aspirations, no bigger job than
Absolutely.
this.
Absolutely.
This is it. This is.
I mean, the thing about it, college, pro, it don't matter. This is one of the premier football coaching jobs. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, it's a top 10 job in
Absolutely.
Football.
Absolutely.
college and NFL.
I don't give a damn what. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why I respect Scott and those guys taking their time to go through the due diligence,
Yeah.
to go through the process,
Yeah.
and getting the right guy in here, because this ain't no fly by night. We don't want nobody in here. We dropped the ball by getting guys in here that hadn't done their respectable position and shown that they could do that already. We dropped the ball there. You can't do that with the head coach.
All right, we appreciate you joining us. Make sure you like and share here on this special edition brought to you by Fletcher Paint and, of course, Lance Beal, attorney at law. Thank you for joining in. Like and share. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.